Today was posterior, the first posterior day of my new split. Yeah, I think I did pretty much everything except for tricep extensions because whenever I was doing dips, my triceps were still sore from last week. So I took it easy on triceps today. I didn't do the extensions. I still did JM press though. My dextrose powder came in today, so I tested that out. Not too sure how I like it yet. I mean, it pretty much just tastes like sugar water. I'll have to kind of keep using it for a couple of days, couple of weeks, and kind of see how I like it. But as far as the macros and everything, it's definitely helping with keeping my carbs up and keeping my calories down. I also tried this new protein powder today. It was the Ghost protein powder. I think the flavor was like cinnamon, cinnabon, something like that. Anyway, it was pretty good. And I mixed it with my dextrose powder. So I did 3 scoops of dextrose and then a scoop of the protein powder. And it was like ultra sweet, like insanely sweet. I don't know if it was just the protein powder alone or the dextrose powder, but either way, that was like honestly too sweet. Like at that point, I may as well like not even have the dextrose powder in there. Like, I don't know what was making it so sweet. Now, I had some people ask me about my split in my comments on TikTok and stuff. I mean, I can tell you my split all you want. I can tell you what I do, how I train, like all you want. But when it really comes down to it, the split is not the issue. Cannot stress that enough. The split, all you have to do is make sure you're training intensely, hitting each muscle group once to twice a week, preferably twice a week if you can, and having good recovery, you know, at least a day in between each muscle group training. So you don't want to train biceps and then the next day train biceps again, you know, train biceps and then take a day doing something else or take a rest day and then train biceps the next day. You know, at least have that one kind of buffer day for recovery in between each muscle group. I mean, other than that, the split is not, it really does not matter that much. What it comes down to is your intensity, your recovery, and your diet. If you've got that all in check, the split has such little effect on the actual muscle growth. Intensity, for every single set, the same intensity. So let's say if you're doing a full body, like full body every other day, if you're starting sets, so if you start with, you know, biceps, okay, you want your biceps to be just as intense as, say, your final set. If you do quads for your final sets, you want to make sure your intensity for biceps is just as intense as your intensity for quads. So your first couple sets and your last couple sets of that day. That's why I can't do like a full body split, because I just can't bring the same intensity as my first couple sets as my last couple sets. People like to stress over the little things and not worry about the big things, and it's just ridiculous. Like, you know, I can tell you what I do, like all you want. I can explain it to you however you'd like, but at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to you just doing it over and over and over and, you know, realizing it for yourself. Because I can sit here and explain it to you and I can set down like literally my exact program and style for you, and you will just not see the same results as me because you have to physically do it yourself for months to years on end to start seeing results. Because even down to like, you know, going to failure, whenever you're a beginner in the gym, you don't really realize like how to go to failure, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you've never reached failure before, like true muscular failure. So you don't know what that feeling's like. You know, you might be like, okay, this is starting to hurt, or, you know, like I feel like I can't do any more reps, and then you just quit. But really you had, you know, 2-3 more reps in you. The thing is, you've just never experienced that before and your body hasn't adapted to that. So you really just don't know like what that feels like and how to do it. It's one of those things you just gotta like have the experience yourself. You know, there's no quick way for me to, there's no quick split that you gotta do. Oh, let me do this split because I feel like this split's gonna get me results quicker than this other split. Like, bro, you just have to put in the work yourself and learn the information as you go. Now, I did say that I would talk about my split. So right now I'm running a anterior, posterior, legs, and then rest day, and then upper, lower, and then rest day, and then, you know, repeat. That's what I'm running right now. So, but I literally started that split like, you know, not even a full week ago. That's another thing. You gotta stick with, if you're gonna do a split, you gotta stick with it for like months. Like, you can't just keep switching your split every like couple weeks to months, or else you're never gonna see results. Like, but the split that I saw all of my results on, because this is the split that I started with and I stuck with for like over a year. And I got all my newbie gains on this split. I got like literally 90 or like, 70, 80% of my gains on this split. And, I have to put it like here or something, because I can't think of it off the top of my head, because it's a split that I came up with that I made like whenever I first started training. And it's honestly not a bad split like at all. I mean, you can use the split that I did, but you're not gonna see any more gains using this split than just doing any other split that trains each muscle group 2 times a week, with the 1 or 2 rest days. Not to mention, like, you gotta really want this shit for you to see results as quickly as I did. You just gotta have that hunger for it. Like, you gotta have that drive, that passion for this shit like I did. And like I do now to this day. Because if you don't, like, I promise you, you won't see the same results that I do. Like, it just won't happen. The motivation is only gonna last so long. You gotta have that discipline. Like, there'll be some days, some weeks, I get super motivated, I get super pumped. So I'm like, yeah, I wanna go lift, bro. Like, I can't wait to go, do dips or go bench after this, There'll be some days that I'm like, dude, I don't wanna lift right now. Like, it won't even be nothing wrong, like, but you know what, I do it anyway, because I know I'm never gonna regret it at the end of the day. And then there will be some days that I will be sick, where I might not be off like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, no carbs, whatever it may be, but I'm still gonna go live. I'm still gonna get in there and get after it, and I'm still gonna bring that same intensity as if I did want to go lift that day, and as if I was, super amped up and pumped up to go lift. Maybe I didn't have pre-workout, still gonna go in there, still gonna lift with the same intensity. Like, you gotta bring that same intensity every time you go in there, no matter what. Because think about it this way: if you're bringing that same intensity on the days that you don't want to go lift, imagine the intensity that you can bring on the days that you do want to go lift. Like, think about if you're bringing like crazy intensity, if you're going as hard as you can on the days that you don't want to be there, on the days that you don't have no pre-workout, don't want to lift, think about the days that you do have pre-workout, the days you are carved up, fully rested. Then those days are going to be even more crazy. So, like, you just got to think about it. Just change your mindset. Like, I can't stress that enough. You got to, like, everything in life is all a mindset. Like, it's a really big, just a huge mind game. And this is one of those things, like, you can train as long and as much as you want, but if you're not in the right headspace, it's never going to give you results like it gave me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you're going to have to, give up some things to gain some better things back. It's just the way that things go. So if you're not ready to do that, then I guess what I'm trying to say is, the more you put into anything in life, the more you're going to get out of it. And, the gym, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever you want to call it, is not an exception to that rule. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So, you can try and find the quick ways, the quick fixes, and the, get rich quick schemes of working out. But at the end of the day, it all just comes down to how much are you willing to give up and sacrifice? How much are you willing to put into this, and how much of your life are you willing to dedicate into this? And if you're not willing to do that, you're just not gonna see results like everybody else will, or like the people who do dedicate their life to it will see. But that is all I got for y'all boys today. I'll see you on the next one. Well, here's what I ate in the morning. I had about 6 eggs, and then for a little intra workout, I had that rice cake cereal. I kind of invented this. I'm not sure if anybody else has been doing it, but it is like the best thing ever. It has like 50 carbs and like 300 to 400 calories, depending on how much you put in there. Here, starting off with the JM press. As you can see, I'm fixing my form on this. Before I was doing it way too far down onto my chest, making it more of like a bench press than an actual JM press. But this one is much closer to actually hitting my triceps than anything else. and then we just get into my second set of doing jam press. The weird thing about these is like the first rep usually is kind of me figuring out, making sure that I'm in the right positioning to do it, because it has to be like very specific, or else it'll kind of take the tension off my triceps and put it on more to my chest or front delts or whatever. So and then I start doing lat pull downs. Of course, using my seatbelt on these and the straps. I have it set where it dead stops like right where my range of motion should be ending for the lats to have the best leverage. So it's like honestly the perfect range of motion for me. And then I did another set of lats, but I'm not gonna put that in here because the recording is like a little bit off on it. So. And I actually finally get glute delts for once. I think I get like 3 reps here, maybe 3.5, and this is with 115 pounds. The weird thing about these is some days I'll get like 4 reps, and then some days I'll get like 1 or 2 with the same weight. So not too sure what's going on there, but. And then of course this is just the same thing, the other arm. I did 2 sets of these, but I'm not going to put both sets in because it's pretty much the exact same thing. Cable rows, the form is getting better on these, I feel like, honestly. I haven't moved the weight very much, but the form is definitely improving, so that's awesome. I was just rewatching my footage and I realized that on my second set of cable rows, my phone literally died as I was recording. I thought it died after I'd already got on recording, so I thought I got my entire set recorded, but apparently it literally died right before I started my set. So I have none of my second set done. And of course it's the one set that I wanted to take my shirt off and kind of see what it looked like, because I've never done that before. So the one set that I got to take my shirt off, I took my shirt off for no reason. That's cool though. Next session, next back session, I'll make sure I get it recorded. Well, my phone won't die that time. But here's my full post-workout meal. This shit was gas, I'm not gonna lie. That's all I got for y'all boys though. See you on the next one.